Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Sri Suta Goswami says, O sages, those who speak the philosophy of Lord Krishna, spiritual philosophy, they must be pure devotees. Because when pure devotee speaks, the listeners follow. If the speaker is not a pure devotee and don't follow what he speaks, then the listeners don't follow what they hear from such a person. Bhāgavata Padhagiya Vaishnaveir Sthani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that. One must reach a pure devotee and listen to ЩRީMAD Bhāgavatam narrations, the philosophy. Philosophy means spiritual philosophy. If the speaker is not a pure devotee, it will not bring any influence on the listener. For example, I give you an example that one mother had a son, and she was her only child. And he grew up and he became a thief. The mother knew that he's a thief. So he's earning from theft. So earning has to come in the house. So she told her son that when you pass through the temple, you make sure you put fingers into your ears so no sound is heard from the temple. Okay? Because she knew in the temple devotees speak and that may influence her son and he gives up stealing and we get no earning. So she told, put your fingers when you pass through the temple. So he followed. Whenever he would pass through the temple, he would put fingers in his ear so he don't listen nothing. So one day, a piece of glass was lying in front of the temple and it entered through his shoes to his foot. He sat down, has to remove the glass, so he had to take out the fingers from his ears. So while he was pulling out, the narration was being spoken by a pure devotee saying that, one should not tell lies, telling lies take you to hell. Should always speak the truth. That was heard by that thief. Because the sound came from a pure devotee, he really decided, I will never tell lies anymore. Till now I had been telling lies. I got to stop this. Because it will take me to hell. I don't want to go to hell. So he stopped his theft because he could not tell lies anymore. Because police would ask, did you steal? He cannot tell lies. So he had to stop. So one day, casually, he entered into the temple. And devotees gave him a little prasadam and spoke to him nicely, some philosophy. And he became friends with them. And he started doing devotional service. Thus he became a devotee. Became a real devotee, actual devotee. And thus, after death, he reached liberation. That is the result of listening to a pure devotee. But if somebody hears a non-devotee, who is not yet a devotee, or he's a fake devotee, showboat devotee, or he's just a pandit, some learned Brahmin, their speech will not change anybody's life for sure. Because they themselves not follow what they speak. They need tea, coffee at least, or eat onion and garlic if they are vegetarians. Not sure. They don't chant japa every day. They don't serve the Supreme Lord. They are not convinced that Krishna is God. So their speech will not benefit anyone. So for that I give you an example. There was a shopkeeper who had a grain shop full of grains. It's called baniya. In our Indian language it's called baniya. He would go every day to the temple and listen to the Pandit. Pandit was speaking in that temple, their temple. Pandit would speak some scriptural injunctions from the scriptures, they repeat. One day this baniya, this shopkeeper took his son too, his grown-up son, 10, 15 years old, and took him there. Okay, let's go and listen to, have darshan today, your birthday. They sat down and the Pandit was speaking and Pandit said that, cow should not be punished. That narration came that particular day. Cow should not be tormented in any way, should never be prevented from eating anything, should never be prevented from drinking water. Cows are very auspicious, and in their body 330 million demigods reside in the cow. Every skin or hair of the cow is resided by one demigod. So the boy heard it and they came back, and after finishing the homework or whatever food, and they went to the shop because there was Sunday and his birthday. So both went to the shop, and man was sitting inside the shop and boy was outside, and cow came there. How destiny works, look. A cow casually suddenly came and put her mouth in grains and started eating. And the boy had heard yesterday that cow should not be prevented from eating. So he did not prevent. And the man saw and he chastised the boy, "What? The cow's eating." He said, "No, we heard it yesterday. Cow should not be prevented." The man took his big stick and hit the cow. So the boy said, "You did very big mistake. Now you will go to hell because you prevented the cow and also punished the cow. Both you have done." So the man said, these Pandits, they only speak, they don't follow anything what they say. Why we have to follow what they have said? Pandits never follow what they say. They have nothing in Āchārana. Why we have to have an Āchārana? Man said to the son. I don't want to listen to the Pandits, what they say, because they don't listen to what they say. It's a fact. So one should be careful from whom they listen. I give you another example. There was a Pandit, and he would go to talk in the temple every day. One day before Ekadasi, he went to market and he bought eggplants. We call in India brinjals. In India we call it brinjal, outside of India it is called eggplant. So he bought eggplant the day before Ekadasi and gave it to his wife in the house and said that today you make eggplant sabji, vegetable, curry. She said, okay. And Pandit went to give lecture. I'm coming back from the lecturing from the temple and then I want to eat eggplant sabji today. Okay. So wife thought, wow, he going to talk. I can also listen. Eggplant sabji is very quickly cooked anyway. So she cooked it quickly and then went to listen. She went to the temple. There were many people listening to the Pandit. So Pandit could not recognize that his wife is also there listening to him. Because so many people listening, she also is one of the women listening there. He could not see her. Did not pay attention to that way. That day narration was going on about Ekadasi. The scriptures say, day before Ekadasi fast, on the Ekadasi day and day after Ekadasi, eggplant should not be eaten. Because if there is one seed of eggplant remain inside the stomach, you go to hell. Nobody can prevent that. So 3 days, a fasting day and day before fasting and day after the fasting day. Eggplant should not be eaten. If you have eaten and one seed remains by chance in the stomach, you go to hell. And that was heard by the wife. She immediately got alert. Wow, what I made eggplant sabji in the home. So when katha finished, speaking finished by Pandit, wife ran to the house and took that sabji and dumped in the trash can, dustbin, and washed the pot nicely. Because I don't want even one seed remain in the house. Through the trash can outside. When Panditji came to the house, he wanted food, so she gave everything. No sabji, no vegetable, curry was not there. So she gave pickles. Today you eat with pickle. Well, bring the sabji, the vegetable, curry. So she said, no, that curry is nonsense. I threw it away in the trash. Why? No, because you told that if one seed remains in the fasting date from the eggplant in the stomach, then you go to hell. So I don't want you to go to hell, neither I want to go to hell. Wife should prevent her husband from going to hell. Whatever it takes, she must do. That is the law. Husband should prevent his wife from going to hell. Whatever it takes for him to do, he must do. And not send her to hell. Not let her go to hell. That is the husband and wife. They must mutually communicate and be friendly. One must be interested in another's welfare. So Pandit became upset. He said, no, we only talk for others, we don't follow them. That is the day she found out her husband is fake. He is not a pure person who follows what he speaks. He only talks for others, so nobody listens to him. Whatever he speaks, nobody listens because he don't follow. She understood that. Does not influence anything he talks to anyone. If the speaker is paid person for speaking, if the speaker is artificial devotee, fake, heretic, if the speaker is in a contract taking money for the speaking, such speakers should not be heard even if they talk about Krishna. But once in a while listening to them, not that bad. Because at least just to have idea what is in the scriptures should be heard. Because they themselves are not following them. But you can have idea. For that reason, the scripture of Nyaya Sastra says, logic, akaranat mandakaranam, be totally ignorant than better to listen from somebody who don't follow them. Mandakaranam means have little knowledge just to have idea what is in there. Those who are not following what they say should not be heard from. That's why we don't hear from anybody. But we already have idea what is in the scripture. So we don't need to hear. But just to have idea what is there, it is, the scriptures allow little bit here and there. One should search out a pure devotee and associate and follow a devotee. Search, seek and find a pure devotee until you receive and find a devotee. When you find a devotee, take shelter of him. Such a pure devotee is very rare in this world. Don't search or carry on searching for the sake of searching a pure devotee, leaving a pure devotee aside. Not correct. One must take shelter of a pure devotee and follow his commands till your last breath. That is the rule. After saying this much, Sutta Goswami closed his eyes and went in meditation, saying that Prahlad Maharaj is going to speak about deity worship, worshipping the worshipable deities, how to worship them, and how to develop love in the heart for the deities. Here we stop today. Thank you very much.